Hi there, thanks for tuning in again. This week I think I really had to take a very close look at how I approach things and maybe then reevaluate how I will approach things in the future. So what that means you will find out in a few seconds if you stay with me. And until then I just say, as always, thank you for watching. As a quick reminder, I'm doing the Weight Watchers program, and in Weight Watchers each food has points assigned to it. I have 44 points per day, additional 28 points per week that I can use if I like, but I try not to touch them. I should always aim to use up all daily points, but can save up to 4 points, which will then be taken into my weekly allowance. And I can also earn points for physical activities. For instance, every 1,500 steps earns me a point. But now let's get started. Let me start this week with a call out regarding how I'm feeling, because, and that is why I mention it, sometime this week a very old friend was reaching out to me, Kai, who was watching last week's video, and he felt that he was a little bit concerned about how I'm feeling and how I'm doing, and he reached out to me asking me what's going on. And I have to say that I appreciate that very much, and if you think the same, if you got the same vibes, then please don't be worried. I just sometimes get a little bit frustrated if things not going my way and if I'm not losing the weight that I was hoping to lose. So that was mainly the reason why I maybe brought across a little bit of a vibe that I feel depressed, and maybe to a certain degree I'm sometimes am. But that is nothing to worry about with me. So there will never be a very dangerous slope that I might wander down in moments like that. So please don't feel worried. But I was very much appreciative of the fact that he was reaching out, because we haven't talked in quite a while. So it ended up that we would meet each other and have a nice talk that we haven't had in years. You know, we were once best friends, and I would say we have lost sight of each other over the last 10 or 12 years or so, and it really was nice to catch up again. And we both decided that this should not be a one-off and that we will repeat that in the future. So at the end of the day, even if I might have sounded a little bit weird, something good came out of it, I would say. And Kai, thank you for your concerns, and looking forward to meeting you again. So, with that being said, let's get into this week. Sunday I slept in quite late, because it was the Oscar night, which at German local time started at 1 a.m, so basically on Monday morning. Therefore I skipped breakfast and headed out for a walk, and when I came back I just ordered some food. I had 2 summer rolls that only cost me 5 points, and the main dish was Szechuan chicken with rice, which cost me 15 points. During the Oscars, of course, I wanted to have something to snack on, so I was having a bag of nacho chips and later on half a bag of crackers, which cost me 16 points. So I started the week with 56 points, already exceeding my daily allowance by 12 points, but I also earned 3 points from walking. But hey, it was the Oscars, and the Oscars are a thing that I really celebrate each year. Watching them live ever since it was first aired live in Germany, which was back in the late 80s, and I never missed a single one. I also did quite well with my ballot this year, where I got 11 out of 23 correct, which was not my best result ever, but also not my worst. Monday I started classic again with cold cuts on bread rolls, 15 points. For lunch again, my guilty pleasure spaghetti alla carbonara, this time with less pasta, so it cost me only 22 points. And in the evening I had the second half of the crackers while watching TV, 16 points. That all added up to 53 points, which means I'm exceeding my daily allowance again. Good start of a week, right? Especially since it was also raining and I didn't walk a step. Therefore, on Tuesday I tried to be more conservative. I skipped breakfast, and for lunch I had the rice that was left over from Sunday, fried it up and threw in some eggs. 6 points for the rice. That I used as a side dish for my Fischbuletten, which is basically the patty of a fish fillet. However, it is something that in Germany was popular even before McDonald's came along. And again something we are used to eat without a bun. 11 points for those. In the evening then I had a whole bag of tater tots, which came in at 30 points, but also filled me up enough so I wasn't craving anything else for the rest of the day. 47 points overall for this day, and again it rained, so I didn't earn any points from walking. On Wednesday a traditional breakfast again, 15 points, and then...
Damn it, today is the first day in quite a while where it wasn't supposed to rain, and I was taking the opportunity and venturing out for a walk, and the second I stepped out, it started raining. I am out of words. So again, no walking for me because I'm just way too soft to go walking in the rain. Especially when it's starting up and it seems to be a wild one. So maybe better luck tomorrow.
And later that day then I had a salad. However, this time I used 3 tablespoons of oil and not just 2. And just FYI, originally 6 are supposed to go in here, but I reduced them, just to check if that will enhance the taste. And it did, so maybe I will keep using 3 instead of just 2 going forward, because it just tastes better. In the evening then I had a bag of pork rinds for 8 points and then had some leftover Oreo chips for 14 points. That all added up to 51 points, again more than my daily allowance, but I still wasn't using up everything from my weekly allowance. So everything was still on track, and I was at least able to earn 1 point from walking while doing my grocery shopping. On Thursday again 15 points for breakfast, and then I was actually able to head out for a nice walk, because it finally was not raining. The last few days have had me thinking a lot about what I actually eat and why I was exceeding my daily allowance almost every day. So after my walk I was also getting some additional grocery shopping done, while I was buying some specific things that might help me in the future. One of those I tried straight away, which is a different brand of chicken nuggets, which are a little bit mislabeled because it is more like chicken fingers, coming with a very lean kind of chicken meat, so it is only 18 points for 1/2 kilo. Basically the same amount of points I had for just 300 grams of traditional chicken nuggets that I usually have. I had these with 5 points worth of curry sauce, so 23 points for my lunch. In the evening I had a salad, but just a small helping of it this time, 5 points worth, which all added up to 43 points, the first time I was actually under my daily allowance this week. Which really was necessary, because even my weekly allowance was down to 1 point at this moment. So with also earning 3 points from walking, I was able to at least stock it up to 5 points again.
And sometimes along this week I was just feeling that maybe due to the fact that I was not losing as much weight as I was hoping to, that maybe I also wasn't following through with my program as I should have. And maybe on a conscious level, maybe on a subconscious level, I was slacking off here and there. I might have not really estimated properly anymore how much points something would be, so that it kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy, that I was thinking I might not lose any weight anymore because the program isn't working, and I was self-sabotaging by just not being as strict as I was once in the past. So what I also decided was to be much more strict, and for that reasons I also reevaluated what I eat and how I start the day, and you can see that in the middle of the week I really started to get strict again, and I restarted with using quite low calorie and quite point conscious stuff for breakfast. So let's have a look.
What I bought was a lot of crisp bread and adjacent stuff, like these corn-based things, of which 6 slices only comes with 3 points, compared to, let's say, a slice of bread that comes with 3 points, or a bread roll that comes with 5 points. And instead of butter, I used skyr, which comes at 0 points, just to have something to make the cold cuts stick. I then again used a lot of the poultry-based cold cuts that come at 0 points as well. And I also got myself a skyr-based cheese, where one whole package only comes at 2 points. And each pack holds 6 small rolls, and I took just one of them, which actually then only counted as 0 points as well. Like most of the things that are low on fat, it is very tough, or let's say harder than usual cheese, but still was okay. I also had 2 slices of the bologna that only comes with 1 point for 2 slices, and also tried some of the new stuff I bought, which is a skyr-based bologna, where 4 slices are only 1 point, of which I then only used 2, but still 1 point. This new kind of breakfast now only comes at 5 points compared to 15 in the past. The question is just, will it fill me up enough to not become hungry a few minutes later? And it was good to just have a small breakfast because I was meeting up later on that day with Kai, the friend I mentioned earlier in this video, and we were going to a Greek restaurant. So being conservative with points in the earlier day was a good idea. I also was heading to see a movie, and to have something to snack on, I was just taking 6 more slices of these corn-based things, which again is only 3 points.
Hey, I'm on my way to a movie theater right now to watch Scream Part 6. And that was quite a task in Berlin, because I wanted to see it actually in 3D and in the English original version, but you cannot have both. You have to choose either 3D but the dubbed version or the English original. So I opted to take the original, but it's also not playing in any movie theater nearby, so I have to go quite a long way. And there it wasn't even showing each time of a day, so it was only showing at 5 p.m. and also not on the weekends. So that means I have to settle for today at 5 p.m. So fortunately I'm on PTO.
And it turned out to be really good that I took those snacks with me, even if those were just 6 dry slices of those corn-based snacks. Because in the nearby center where I just wanted to get something to drink and where not even the main entrance was working, I didn't find any supermarket. Even though there was a big advertisement on the front of the center saying that there is one, it just didn't say where, and there was also no address on, so I assume it just moved. Yet inside the center there was only a drugstore where I could at least buy a small bottle of water to drink. Because even though I have some money, I'm still a cheapskate because I'm not willing to pay the movie theater money for what is basically just tap water. The movie theater apparently also has seen better days because not even the name over the entrance was still intact, as you can see. I guess it was supposed to say Der Filmpalast, but everything fell off already. Inside it was also quite weird because the ticket counters were empty, and fortunately I already bought my ticket online. But apparently you were also supposed to buy your tickets on the concession stand, which signals that this movie theater is not doing that well, which is a pity, because they are dying anywhere, all over the place. And with it the opportunity to see movies in the theater, especially as this one also offers at least some original versions. Inside the movie theater it was also quite empty, and don't get me wrong, I like it if it is not packed to the rafter because, especially after COVID, you don't want to sit cheek to other people. But being completely alone was a little bit weird, especially if you are watching a horror movie like Scream. Fortunately later a couple was showing up and then a third person, so we were 4 people overall in this large theater. Again a pity, I would hope that more people would show up for movies, especially original versions. And then I was finally meeting up with my old friend in a place that was unfortunately very scarcely lit. So the video quality here is not that great. And the dish I had here I estimated at 35 points. We met at 8 p.m. and we talked until 2 a.m. in the morning, which was a really nice catch-up. Something we vowed to soon repeat.
By the way, this is Kai.
Hi.
I was home around 3 p.m. and by then our meal at the Greek restaurant was over 6 hours ago, so I was a little bit peckish again. Especially since I wasn't tired, because when I'm on PTO I tend to become a night owl and was still awake until 5 or so. Good thing then that I found this nice bread replacement that is very conservative on points, because my late snack that you can see here only cost me 1 point. This way I could end this day exactly with 44 points on target, and even earned 3 points from walking. On Saturday for breakfast I also tried out another kind of crisp bread, which comes at 1 point per slice. And this one was really crispy. Not sure if I will use it all the time, but I guess it will slip in here and there in the future. Therefore today's breakfast came in at 7 points, which is still very point conscious. For lunch I had another small portion of salad, 7 points this time. And for supper I had some drumsticks, for which I this time also used a little bit of oil to make the herbs stick better. So it is 8 points for the drumsticks and 4 points for a tablespoon of oil. 12 points for this. Having only used 26 points that far that day, and not even being that hungry, I was trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the points. So I decided to have at least a little bit of a snack with some bread chips. which came in at 9 points, bringing this whole day to 35 points, which means I still was supposed to use up at least 5 more points and then I would be able to save the remaining 4. But since I didn't feel like it, I was just not using them up. With the 3 points I earned from walking that day, I was in theory being able to end this week with 20 points back in my weekly allowance, even though I was only allowed to put 4 points in. So officially it's only 15. It was an interesting week and I'm looking forward to find out if and how that change in behavior will pay out when I step on the scales. And you will find out in a few seconds.
So now I'm sitting here and of course it's Sunday again and the week is over. So what happened when I stepped on the scales this week? I have to say I've lost over a kilogram, 1.1 kilogram, which really shows that I might have sabotaged myself a little bit and sticking to it more strictly really helps. I also walked a little bit more than the previous weeks because the weather is getting better, and as you can see now, I guess next week we will be finally really back in spring because it's now 16 degrees and the sun is shining. It's supposed to rain later on today, but so far it looks good. So that is something I'm looking forward, and I'm also recharged again, not only due to the fact that I met up with an old friend, reconnected there, but also because it seems like I was just losing touch a little bit of being strict enough, and now I'm stricter again and it seems to show success. And that is what it's all about, I think. So that's me. That's my week. I was quite successful. I hope you were also very successful in whatever you tried to achieve. I'm also quite confident that I will also be successful the next week. So going forward, I feel re-energized and I hope for whatever you have planned for your next few weeks also will come to fruition. Until then, I hope we will see each other next week when the next video drops on Monday. And until then, I say again, thank you for watching and wishing you all the best. Bye. This week I had to take a very close look at how I do things.